Earl Thomas Conley is one of the most underrated country singers of all time. Let me know what you think in the comments. He's another guy that's kind of gotten lost in the shuffle here recently. He was very popular when he first came out, kind of like T.G. Shepherd was, but they kind of gotten lost in the shuffle here recently. Now, he would join the U.S. Army as a young man, and he would get involved in a Christian music trio, but during that time, he would shift his focus more toward country music after his music ability started to show through, and he would draw on influences such as Merle Haggard and George Jones. In 1968, after being honorably discharged from the Army, he would start making trips back and forth to Nashville and start playing in bars. Now, in 1974, he would start releasing music. He would release 4 songs, but none of them had any success. But his songwriting career would have a lot more success with singers like Mel Street and Conway Twitty singing some of his songs. Now, in the late 70s, his music career would take a turn for the better when his songs that he was singing would finally start doing better on the charts. And in 1980, he would finally have his first top 10 hit with Silent Treatment, which would peak at number 7. Now, he would follow that up in 1981 with my favorite song that he's got, Fire and Smoke, which would be his first number 1 hit. Now, he would follow it up with several more number 1 hits like Somewhere Between Right and Wrong and Your Love Is on the Line. But in 1983, he would release what was probably his most remembered song, Holding Her and Loving You, which would go to number 1 and probably be his most popular song, and it would be nominated for several awards. Now, around the same time, he would make music history by being the first artist in any genre of music to have 4 singles from the same album all go to number 1. Now, he would have several more number 1 hits in the 80s, such as Angel in the Skies and Once in a Blue Moon and A Chance of Loving You. And in 1990, he would have his last top 10 hit in country music with Brotherly Love with Keith Whitley, which would go to number 2. He would have 18 total number 1 hits in his career. Now, sadly, in 2019, he would pass away, but like I said, in the 80s, he was very popular, but he's kind of become a little underrated here recently. He just doesn't get talked about as much for somebody that had 18 number 1 hits and was one of the biggest stars of the 80s. But let me know what you think in the comments. Over and out.